welcome to the second review of the evening. Up this time is Age of Undead. Age of Undead is a multi-genre game, turn-based RTS FPS that allows you to face the frightful zombie apocalypse with three unique factions: the Army, the Infected, and the Survivors. Make strategic choices in the campaign, then go into battle and fight to survive. After decades of movies and video games speculating on a possible virus that turns humans into zombies, it has happened in this other video game. It all started with some strange viral videos on social media where crazy people were seen biting others in public places. Afterwards, the news began to talk about hospitals collapsing and mass hysteria that resulted in uncontrolled violence. A few weeks later, the first martial law was enacted, and frightened citizens locked themselves in their homes while authorities were attempting to contain an unprecedented social event. So...
You sure we're not talking about 2020 here and not a zombie apocalypse in a game, right?
I'm like...
Too many parallels, my friend.
Perhaps, but... I don't recall a lot of biting incidents.
You'd be surprised.
Man, I hate it when I get bit in my public place.
I wouldn't say that too loud.
Okay, we're just going to move on from that statement. Anyway, so given the marketing materials here, this is a mishmash of genres. In fact, it's a... Okay, we've got two diametrically opposing genres here that probably should not exist in the same space. But from what I am gathering here, like the overall overreaching tactical phase is the turn-based, and then the smaller scale stuff is real-time strategy. That's what RTS stands for.
Right.
You know, because, yeah, trying to mix real-time strategy with turn-based stuff rarely ever works out well. Also, this has an FPS mode to boot, which is a radically different style of game entirely. So, over to Petty to see how this all worked out, or didn't.
Not well. Like, there's way too much stuff going on here to, like, make anything coherent out of this.
Yeah, that is not a surprise to me. Just when I saw, okay, this is putting together three very disparate things. Mm-hmm. It's like, it's not necessarily this can't ever work, but, you know, you're going to have to put some effort into it.
It's a lot like Reese's Cups, where, yeah, you could just mash any peanut butter and chocolate together, but it won't always turn out well.
I mean, this is coming across as more oil and water.
I mean, yeah. There are ways you can make that mix into something kind of cool and interesting to look at, but as far as playing it, not great.
Right, so how are all of these genre elements integrated into one another? Like, where do you play the turn-based and the RTS and the FPS segments?
The turn-based seems to be more like a hex-based kind of strategy, almost board game-like thing.
Oh, so it's like a grand strategy game or 4X.
Something like that, yeah. And then, like, if you get into a combat encounter with the zombies, it turns into an RTS. I've not gotten to any of, like, FPS segments. I don't know if they've tucked that inside of the RTS stuff, or if that's another mode entirely.
Let's see. Developer. Let's see on the. Oh, okay. This is weird. The first-person shooter stuff. Although Age of Undead is primarily a strategic game, developers wanted to broaden the gaming experience. Are you tired of managing hundreds of units and deciding everything yourself? Then there's no problem. Get comfortable and support your allies from above with some more or less conventional aircraft, hitting enemies relentlessly and opening the way for friendly troops.
Oh, okay.
I'm like,
So do you have FPS stuff or not?
I'm like, that's not what we call it. That's not a that's not a first person shooter necessarily. Like,
That's a
that's
mini
like,
game you get in multiplayer.
yeah, or that's cockpit view in a flight game of some kind,
Yeah.
either arcade or sim.
Yeah,
Like,
I never really got to that, so I can't really say explicitly if that's like false advertising or anything like that, but it's definitely not a thing that I came across to really comment on if it's, implemented well or not.
right.
So I guess if you were looking for that here, you may want to look elsewhere.
I mean, the kind of first person shooter they would be describing here is what they call the 6 degrees of freedom first person shooter. They don't make too many of those. It's very disorienting. Your Descent, your Forsakens, that kind of game. Your Pyrotechnicas.
Indeed. And like,
So putting aside the first person shooter stuff, because even like that really does seem like the most vestigial of the three gameplay styles here, compared to turn-based and real-time strategy. How do those play out?
The turn-based thing, I guess, is all right. Turn-based strategy is not, a genre I frequent, so I can't really say too much on that. Like, it didn't break. It doesn't slow my computer down to a crawl when trying to do turns, so I guess it is adequate.
Mm-hmm.
The RTS is one of those things that the zombies will start to swarm the longer you take. So if you like want to turtle at your base, you're going to get destroyed. So I guess it favors more aggressive play, which again is kind of weird and a strategic RTS type setting, but what do I know? As far as I can tell in like campaign, I have no way to interact with the other factions. Like, I don't know if they're supposed to be like allies or because I don't have any way to engage with them specifically. And like if I try and I can walk in their territory, but I can't like claim any of it. So I guess they're friendlies, but I have no way of knowing. And I can't like open any diplomacy options or anything like that. They at least have made an option to resolve battles automatically because, good lord, the battles take forever. I think I can try and start this one. Yeah, you can even adjust your, you have very granular control over this. It's kind of nuts.
Looks it.
Okay, you start on a 1,000 by 1,000 map. You can make riflemen, or you can make. They call them sappers, but they're basically like your construction units.
Which zapping is kind of the opposite of that, but you know.
I don't know. And like you can set a rally marker from spawn, and then as long as you have resources and room, you can put things down, and you can make other dudes help build it faster. You know, as one would want to do in a real-time strategy.
Mm-hmm.
And let me see if I can get these guys to build. Sorry, my screen's rather small. I want a vehicle factory. See if I can make some heavy artillery. Because making zombies go boom is the best. I guess any questions from you guys?
Not really. It sounds a little bit confused, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, nothing that I haven't already asked. You know, but it's in line with my assessments. Like, and that is the danger of mixing radically, different things haphazardly means you don't get a very satisfying mix of anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, you're trying to broaden the appeal of this game, even though it's a zombie-related thing, which means it's already got broad enough appeal, given the sales number of zombie things, even to this day.
Mm-hmm.
It's like people say they're tired of zombies, but we keep getting zombie media. Like,
yep.
So somebody's still buying that. Like, and furthermore, you're like, like the turn-based and the real-time stuff. I see what they were trying to go for here, but given it really seems to be like a turn-based grand strategy game with elements of a real-time strategy mixed in. And those are two very different audiences. Say nothing of the first-person shooter stuff, or what they're calling a first-person shooter. Like that's like off on another galaxy compared to what we're, strategy games. Like,
right.
So, I'm not saying, once again, I'm not saying that none of this could work, but you have to have a deft hand at it, and it doesn't sound like it came into play here.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so that means we come to the magic moment of pricing. And this game clocks in at $19.99.
I mean,
for the kind of game it is, it's not surprising for it to be a little bit higher.
Yeah,
but
if this played better, probably, but in the state it's in right now, and yeah, I guess going back to what's going on here, I finally have encountered some zombies. And they are currently being mowed down by my heavy infantry, so...
Hooray.
The good guy shooting guns.
Do not quote the NRA.
Fair. That is 100% valid.
So, Do you ultimately think this game is worth $20?
In the state it's in now, probably not. Like, unless you have a bunch of people you can already play online with. Because this does have online multiplayer.
Mm-hmm. All right. And unfortunately, that wasn't tested out because we only got one copy of the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, mentioned it before, but I'll mention it again. If publishers want us to actually test out the multiplayer components of a game, we need more than one code. Like, that's how that works. Yeah. So, that aside, I think that's everything on Age of Undead here.
Yeah.
All right, so that'll about do it for this game. Be sure to tune in after the break, as the Galax will be reviewing Gummy Dummy Battles.